What's up guys, my name's Brandon, and Apple finally releases iOS 13.3.1 Beta 2 a whopping 28 days after the first beta was released back on December 17th. And I believe that is the longest span of time between iOS betas ever. I have not found anything longer than 28 days. So this was long overdue. So of course in this video, we're gonna be discussing what's new in this Beta 2 update, if anything, how the performance and battery life have been, cell connectivity, your feedback, and more. So let's not waste any time. Let's go ahead and take a look at the size of this update. You can see here it came in at 256.8 megabytes on my iPhone 11 Pro here. And one thing that got pointed out to me on Twitter as well, by the way, is that the B in beta is actually now a capital in 13.3.1. That is new. Before, it would just be a lowercase b when it showed what the update is. So something very minor, but something that was noticed. So now let's go ahead and check out the build number. If we go into our settings, general about, you can see 13.3.1, and the build number for beta 2 here is 17D5044A. So we're at 5044. That is 18 builds from beta 1. So in theory, we should see a much more stable beta release than beta 1. And if we scroll down a little bit further, you can see we do also have a new modem firmware update. We went from 1.04.01 to 1.04.05 on the iPhone 11s. And of course, that number will be a little bit different for all other iPhones, but they all also got an update. All right, so if you guys remember, I know it's been a while, but if you do remember, iOS 13.3.1 beta 1 didn't really bring anything new to the table, even though it was thought to fix a lot of bugs, but really I could not find anything new in that update. And in the last public release, iOS 13.3, which most of you are probably on right now, we had the screen time communication limits bypass. Many users reported that cell connectivity was a major issue, especially with the iPhone XR. A lot of people just couldn't even get cell signal for some reason. There were issues with audio from videos playing once you exited the app, mostly with applications like Instagram. We also had issues with notifications from text messages not coming through, and basically your phone wouldn't light up. I talked about this a lot. It's not just in 13.3, but also in previous versions as well. And then of course, one of the things that the media blew way out of proportion, that's not a big deal, but it is still something worth noting, is a fix for location services basically always being active due to the U1 chip in the newer iPhones. And Apple made it seem that 13.3.1 was only going to be released basically to fix the issue with the location services basically always being active even though the toggle was off because of the U1 chip in the new iPhones. But once again, beta 1 did not fix one of those things. It didn't fix anything at all. It was a really strange beta release, a really big letdown of a beta release, which is again pretty hard to do when you don't really have any expectations for a beta release, especially a point beta release. So now we're here in 2020 with beta 2, and Apple still didn't post any release notes. So let's dive into the software and see if anything is fixed, because Apple's not making it easy on us. Once again, they're not showing anything has been fixed or added to the software at all. All right, so first let's discuss the Speakerphone Echo issue, because I think that is the #1 most complained about bug that I've seen here on my channel, on social media, everywhere. And again, that was where you would basically call somebody, you would put it on speakerphone, and that person would hear their echo, and it would be really, really annoying for both parties. So luckily in iOS 13.3.1 beta 2, it has been fixed. So I did call somebody with the SIM card in this phone right here on beta 2, and they did not hear any echo when I was on speakerphone. I didn't hear any echo. There was nothing going on, nothing abnormal about the phone call. So I believe Speakerphone Echo has been fixed. I only did one call, but that's all it took for me to basically realize that it's not happening anymore, because every other time when I would do it on 13.3.1 beta 1, every single time they would hear the echo. So now I can finally use speakerphone again. I love using speakerphone when I'm on phone calls, if I don't have my AirPods around. So if you guys have beta 2 installed, go ahead and test this and leave your results down in the comments below, but I believe it has been fixed here in beta 2. Now, as you guys know, the flagship feature of iOS 13.3 was communication limits inside of screen time right here. So we go to screen time and then communication limits. This was the new thing added in 13.3, a pretty major feature added into iOS. Well, there was a really big bug that basically allowed you to bypass communication limits. And for some reason, even in 13.3.1 beta 2, it is still not fixed. You could still practically bypass this whole communication limits that you would set in place for your kids, and your kid will really easily be able to figure it out and get past these communication limits. So let me just show you again. So if we go ahead and do this and set it to contacts only for both, we go into our text messages. You can see right here, I got a text message from an unknown number. If I go and tap on that, I still get the ability to add the contact, just add it as a contact, click done, and then I'm able to see the text and respond and everything. So a bypass to communication limits, for some reason, still not fixed. The flagship feature, still not fixed. And the simple way to fix this is just by removing the add contact button right there. If that add contact was not there, the person would not be able to add the contact and communicate with that person. It seems like a pretty easy fix. I'm not really sure why Apple has still not fixed that. Now moving on to the ultra wideband issue, it's not really an issue, and again, it was blown way out of proportion by the media. It's really not a big deal at all. Basically, it's where the iPhone shares location data when your location data is turned off. It's not sending the data anywhere. Apple's not selling that data or anything like that, so I do not see why it's a big deal. However, I went through all these settings in here. I went to settings, general, and looked everywhere in here, including an AirDrop. Right here, there's nothing new in there. I went to settings, privacy, looked through everything in here, location services, nothing in any of these. There are no toggles anywhere for disabling the U1 chip. And if you guys don't know what the U1 chip is, it basically allows you to point your phone, like if you're using AirDrop, you could point it to somebody's phone and basically send them stuff through AirDrop because it knows like the location and where you're turning your phone and things like that. So I thought it could be somewhere in location services or in AirDrop, but I didn't see it anywhere. I went through every single settings menu, did not see a toggle for disabling that. So I would assume that Apple is, gonna have it in the final release of 13.3.1 because that was, again, probably the #1 reason they said they were gonna push a 13.3.1. They released a statement saying that. So I don't know, we'll see, but it's not fixed just yet in beta 2. All right, so now let's talk about the issue with Instagram. And I found that it's not only just Instagram, but basically the issue is where you would go into Instagram, you would start playing a video, you would exit the app, and you would still hear the audio from that video. Even if you went into other applications like Twitter or whatever, you would still hear the audio playing from that video that you were playing in Instagram. Even after you paused it, even if you muted it, no matter what, it would still play. And it didn't happen every single time, but it did happen quite a bit, and it got very, very annoying. And I actually found that it happened just yesterday on 13.3 in the YouTube application. So just to show you guys what I mean, I actually screen recorded the issue happening inside the YouTube app on iOS 13.3 here. So just listen to this.
So you can just watch it all in one place. Thumbs up for that. There's a lot to show you. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's start this madness off at South Hall, and I want to thank Skyworth for sponsoring my...
So did you hear that? There was like at least two videos playing at the same time. So there's something going on in iOS 13.3, and it's also present in 13.3.1. I think it has something to do with maybe, background app refresh or something to do with the apps just continuing to run and play video in the background. It's really weird, and it's extremely, extremely annoying when it does happen. And yes, I have reported this, but Apple has not commented on it yet, and they've not said that they've fixed it or anything. So not sure what's taking them so long, but that is one of the biggest issues for me that I really, really want to be fixed ASAP. So I've not been able to reproduce the bug so far on 13.3.1 beta 2, but again, it doesn't happen every time. It happens, maybe a few times a day, maybe 3 or 4 times a day. And I've only been playing with the software for about 45 minutes now. So I will do a follow-up video and let you guys know if that's fixed. So definitely stay tuned for that. That will be coming later on this week. Now it's the same deal with the text message bug. So basically when I would get a text message and I'd be on my lock screen wouldn't even light up. I wouldn't get a sound, I wouldn't get a vibration, anything when I got a text message. And I've also seen a lot of people report this as well. Ever since I reported it, a lot of people also said that they've been having that issue for a while now. And again, I can't say for sure if it's fixed or not in beta 2, but I would assume it's not. But again, I will touch on that in my follow-up video. Now, as for cell connectivity for the iPhone XR, a lot of iPhone XR users reported some major issues in 13.3.1 with cell connectivity. I will put my SIM card in this and let you guys know if that's been fixed. It was mostly in the UK, so it may not apply to anybody in the US, but I will still test it just to make sure. I didn't have any issues, but I want to see if there's any issues now in beta 2 on the XR. And a lot of you guys have also been sending me issues that you've been having as well in these betas, and I really do appreciate it. Let me know, if you guys have any bugs or any kind of issues that I don't talk about on video, because I could feature you in videos. So aside from the ones that I mentioned earlier, the bugs that I mentioned earlier, here are some of the others that people have reported. So the first one comes from Farhan here. He says that he's having notifications come in really late and sometimes has to go into the app to actually get the notifications. He's also reporting that he has an issue here with auto app updates not updating. his applications, even though it was toggled on. So even though he has that toggle on, it's still not updating his apps for some reason. And then we have a message here from Devin, who's also having mail issues like a lot of others have been reporting. For some reason, I don't have any mail issues at all on 13.3.1, and I really haven't had any since like 13.2, but he's basically saying that emails don't load as expected, which again, I have heard before, so that's not anything new. But if you guys had any of these issues, let me know down in a comment below. And again, I do like to feature people in these videos by sharing their feedback and bugs that I don't necessarily cover or cover enough in these videos, because again, I do report these to Apple, and you never know, maybe somebody from Apple, a small person from Apple, watches my videos to kind of learn about bugs. You just never know who's watching, so I like to share it as much as possible so we can try to get these things fixed. So yeah, basically none of the major bugs have been fixed, but I guess it's a good thing that at least the performance should be improved based on the build number. Again, we are 18 builds ahead, so in theory that means that the performance overall should be better here on beta 2. I will be testing that a lot. I'll be gaming, I'll be doing a lot of multitasking and things like that to see if performance has improved at all. As for the battery life though, I would imagine that's going to remain the same until at least the final build of 13.3.1, the public release, maybe even 13.4. I mean, I can't really see 13.3.1 doing much at all with the battery even when it publicly gets released. So I would say that maybe 13.4 would be the better time to update you on battery life. And as for connectivity in terms of LTE and Wi-Fi, again, that should be improved in theory based on the modem firmware update for all phones. Plus, the issues that iPhone XR users were having with connectivity should also be solved. I will touch on that later on. I will, try to get some research and some feedback from people in the UK that were having issues. I will be testing it on mine just to make sure, again, nothing is happening with the XR here in the US. But yeah, aside from that, that's pretty much it for iOS 13.3.1. Beta 2, again, not a major update for some reason. I mean, we did get an update finally for the first time in like a month, but there's really nothing new here. I mean, hopefully it does fix other issues. We did get the Speakerphone Echo issue, which is nice. That was a big bug, but there are still so many other bugs that have yet to be patched. So yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And of course, make sure to stay tuned for my follow-up video so I can tell you guys how Beta 2 has been running throughout the week. I am actually gonna install this on my daily driver, my 11 Pro Max, because the speakerphone issue has been fixed now, so I feel more comfortable having it on my daily driver. So I will definitely be able to give you guys a lot more information and feedback as to how it's running on a day-to-day basis. But anyways, guys, that's gonna do it. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.